Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well and staying well in these volatile times that we are living through. Today, I want to share with you how, the tools that I particularly use and I've used for about a decade or so to create a six-figure a year income. And that's what I want to share with you. I want to go over with you how we take money and we compound it and utilize that money in order to, grow wealth. So that's what we're going to jump into for today. First, of course, we'll just run over the disclaimer. All that I'm going to share with you today is for information and educational purposes only. Please do not take anything as live financial advice. While the markets do present great reward, there is also great risk. We certainly recommend never trading with money that you cannot afford to lose. So with that, let's jump in. And the first thing I want to talk about today was the rule of 72. And what is the rule of 72? This is something that you need to understand when it comes to building wealth, when it comes to accruing, financial stability. How do we get a rate of return on our money? Whether we park it in the stock market or we park it in bonds or any investment strategy or real estate, we want to know how long does it take for our money to double? So if we take the amount of years, how long does it take for this to double? So at a 12% return on our investment, it would take 6 years. On a 4% return, it would take 18. Now, for most of us, we want to accelerate this as quickly as possible. As long as I can get through this quickly, I will actually open up my trading platform and show you how I just this week have generated a 26% return on my money. And that's just over the past 4 days. But we'll get to that in just a few minutes. So first and foremost, our objective clearly is to shorten the amount of time that it takes to double our investment. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How do we actively manage our money in order to get to that quickest and fastest and most effective rate of return? So this is a quote that I reflect on often by Richard Nye. Hidden behind the facade of pompous jargon and noble affections, there is more sheer larceny per square foot on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange than any place else in the world. It's a pretty powerful statement, and I do reflect back on it often because it's true. It's true. So what are Hawkeye Tools Project V's from? Who is this for? It's basically for anybody that wants to manage their own money, anybody that wants to generate any form of income that they're looking for, whether it's to replace income, add to income, just build wealth, whatever your objective is, you can utilize our tools, whether you're new, experienced, retired, saving for college funds, investing in your 401k or IRA, small accounts, big accounts, it really doesn't matter. I mean, if you are using, at any level, whether you're advising somebody else or you're, working with your own money, you can utilize and find value in the tools we at Hawkeye here have to offer. So this is from Max Larson. He's a $2 million fund manager, and as a professional money manager with $200 million under management, I find the Hawkeye system to be an indispensable tool in investment research. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned investment manager, with his knowledge on how the market works and is transforming. So it doesn't matter what level you're at, beginning or well into your career, what we have to offer, the tools that we utilize, and the foundation of understanding volume is very, very valuable. So guys, I'm going to show you a bunch of little base hit trades. And the reason I'm going to show you that is because that's what it takes to start doubling your money on a much more aggressive manner. The objective would be to double your money on a monthly basis, not annual, semi-annual, 6 years, 12 years, 18 years. The objective would be to double your money as quickly and efficiently as possible. And that's the rule of 72. So here on TK Tankers, our indicators would have offered you a 5.55% return. Here in QEP Resources, same things. Our indicators would have offered you a 7.28% return. Regal Pharmaceuticals, 9.5% return. And guys, listen, the power here that drives our indicators is really volume-based. We here at Hawkeye understand, we teach, we preach, we educate that volume precedes price action. It always has, it always will. Where you would typically look at this line in the sand here in the S&P, you would see a bearish breakout. Uh, and listen, if you went by any type of textbook technical analysis, that's what this would look like. Once we start to add our indicators in, we realize that while the price was breaking down below what appeared to be a breakout, it was really institutions and the larger position holders building a buying position because we saw that volume was stepping in. So while most of the retail traders probably shorted this position, anybody who understood volume knew that this was really a buying opportunity, not so much a selling opportunity. You could see right there where that strong, heavy presence of buyers stepped in, and then you could see where the market just turned and went the other direction. That is the power of understanding how volume precedes price action. If you understand volume and understand price action, you can read the market like a roadmap. And with having that ability, you are able to very consistently, disciplinedly, and profitably trade the market over and over again. So this particular move would have offered you $250 per contract traded. That's a great day's pay, even if you're just trading with a small account with one contract. Diamond Offshore Drilling, 2 trades amounting to 9.5%. Our indicators picked up the moves and gave you the opportunity to just get in, take a day's pay, get a return on your investment, move out, wait for the next opportunity, get in, take your day's pay, your return on investment, and move out. Peabody Energy Corporation, 3.2%. Guys, not a huge move, but if you do this on a consistent basis, if you got 3% a day, 20 days out of the month, you did really, really, really well. Winnebago Industries, 2 opportunities. Market went long, locked in a little profit. Market went into what we call congestion, range-bound trading. And then as it broke out, our indicators suggested another leg up. And sure enough, that's what you got. So for a combined of 2 trades, 12.9%. A fantastic return on your investment for a very short period of time worth of work. So this is Vonna. She's a registered nurse, or was a registered nurse. She retired in 2018, and she decided she wanted to make trading her full-time job. So what she did is she used our tools, she took our methodology, and she basically replaced her very rewarding income as a full-time nurse, and now she trades. And you know what? She's just one of the many of the thousands of satisfied clients that we work with on a regular and daily basis. So I just wanted to take a moment and share that with you. So let me tell you a little bit about who we are. Nigel Hawkins is the person who founded and built Hawkeye Traders. Randy Lindsay, our CEO, has stepped in as Nigel has stepped out and retired. Randy is a former rocket scientist specialized in artificial intelligence and neural networks. He is really the creator of the simplification of the tools that Nigel had built. And Randy's retired. All he does now is he's a full-time trader. And I and our team have stepped in and we are working with him, keeping Hawkeye up to date and moving it along. And, Randy's really just one of the smartest guys I've ever worked with. I personally learned underneath him. He was just fantastic. And we still work with him. We had him, in a session last Wednesday. We were doing a live training and, really, really enjoyed him. And Randy brings so much knowledge and background to the company. So, guys, here's another quick example, and I want to show you how this 3-step process works. So we see that our heat map has turned bright green. That means 3 of our measurement scales are telling us that this trend is building to the long side. There we have what we call V-swarm. Our volume indicator is clearly green. We have a presence of buyers. And here we have our trend dot come in. What does our trend dot tell us? Well, our trend dot tells us, after doing 300 calculations per closed bar, that it is time for the market to move in an upward direction. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened here. There's our trend dot. So that's our 3-step: heat map, volume, trend dot. And there's the move. You can see that the market followed through with exactly what the indicators predicted it was going to. 8.62%, fantastic return on your money for a very short period of time. This is an E-mini trade. You can see clearly we have our 3 steps. We have heat map, we have volume, we have our trend dot that came in. You see that, how it turned from bright green to bright red? That tells us that there is a shift in the market. And as the shift occurs, we will take advantage of the move. That is the objective here. Now, guys, I want to share with you that every one of these examples we have taken from our own subscribers, our own users that they've sent us, and then we've just reformatted them into a prettier looking screen to share with you. But these are not trades that we went back and picked. These are trades that our actual users have all taken. $330 per contract. That's a great day's pay for a short period of time worth of work. So here is from Michelle Holbert. Another base hit yesterday using the Hawkeye 3-step method. I take the signals in the E-minis, trade them off the E-micros. Both the setup pictures here are the 3-minute YM and the MYM. Like I said, her chart may look a little congested. That's why we clean them up, but it is the exact same move that we are sharing with you here, and these are what our actual members are taking. And as they take them, we've asked them to share us with us so we can share them with you. We want you to know that these are all real-life trades. So here's some Forex. I know there are some Forex traders out there. Plenty of our users, utilize Forex. So you could see the same thing step in. Our indicators are measuring volume and price action. And here you go. Once you have the things we're looking for, you will get the same indications regardless of what you're trading. So with that, you will get the opportunity to take these trades utilizing Forex. Now, if you don't like Forex and you like cryptocurrencies, the indicators work the same on cryptocurrencies, futures, stocks, indices. Whatever it is you prefer to trade, our indicators work just as efficiently on any other asset. So for 130 pips, that is a fantastic move and opportunity to have made a great return on investment or a great day's pay. Remember, that's the objective here. The objective is to build. So here is this actual trade as it occurred, as one of our users had shared with us. So I just want you to know we didn't go back and pick these. These are all trades that our users have taken the time to share with us. We love when they share their success with us. And there's something we have called the Inner Circle Skype room. And within that room, that is also where we share our trades on a regular basis, and I'll get into that in just a little bit. So here's Invericare Corporation, 4.18% return from taking a simple little move. The market congested and offered the next entry for another 6.1%, pushing us just a hair over 10% for the day. So Sven says this is a tool where you are structurally, in a structural way, feel confident by just following the rules. And that's really the simplicity here at Hawkeye. We have built a complete entire structure of training videos to live training classes to the indicators to support groups. If you can follow directions, if you can follow a simple recipe, you can very easily take these trades and you can go from a nurse to a full-time trader, or a salesman to a full-time trader, or whatever it is you're doing to a full-time or part-time trader. And that is really objectively how it fits into your lifestyle. I personally am a very passive trader. If I can take the least amount of trades with the most amount of profit, I'm the happiest I can be. So with that being said, this is really geared towards anybody who wants to build the trade plan around whatever their end goal is. United States Oil Fund, 3.4%. Our indicators told you where to get in. All you had to do was just follow them to the way out, and sure enough, you had a fantastic opportunity to get a great return on your money. Pro shares, Ultra Pro. Opportunity was to the short side. You could see the position built to the way down, almost 3%, 2.79. As the market offers these, we catch them. Like I said, we're not going back and looking for them. We are basically taking the trades that our users and subscriber base are taking and utilizing for themselves. I want to show you real life trades. I don't want to go back. Anybody can go back and cherry pick. Cherry picking to me doesn't accomplish anything. There's no credibility and there's no longevity in doing that. So that's why I want you to know all of these trades are trades that we have, found and utilized and taken from our members who have actually taken the trades and sent them to us. So you can see how you can easily grab 64 pips when we just get the indicators. 3 steps: volume, heat map, trend dot. Those are is the simplicity of what it takes to get started. Here, Nikos shared with you exactly what I just showed you, where he got in to his trade and got out of his trade in a very, very quick and efficient manner. That is the simplicity of having, understanding, and utilizing our tools. So Eagle bulk shipping, a quick and easy 4% in a very short period of time. To get 4%, and double your money, you are talking years upon years upon years, putting it in a very passive manner. So the objective here, once again, is to take your money and double it as quickly and efficiently as possible. Lithium motors, 4.56% by just following the indicators, the tools, the system that we have laid out for you. We have made this as simple as possible. Every week I take part with Randy in training our traders. And every week I make it as simple as possible for somebody to just go, oh, I had an aha moment. If I do ABC, eventually I get D. It's very, very simple. EOG resources, 2.31%. Like I said, these little amounts may not excite you terribly, but the reality is they don't need to be huge returns if you can do them on a consistent basis. Listen, you can hit singles and doubles and singles and doubles over and over and over again. As long as you are consistent, you can make a lot of money. Like I said, as long as time allows, I will show you my live trading account, and this way you'll get a feel for what, my actual trades I took this past week. And these trades have allotted to about a little over a 26% return on my money. So gold futures. I don't know if we have any futures traders in here. So, with that, this move could have produced here $1,140 per contract. Now, guys, I don't know what platforms you like to trade on, but we work on most of them. We work on TradeStation, we work on NinjaTrader, we work on TradingView and MT4. So any and all of our indicators can be applied to any and all of those particular platforms. So wherever you feel most comfortable, that is completely up to you. Personally, I feel like TradeStation is the closest retail professional platform that exists. That's what I prefer to use. But like I said, it works on Ninja also, it works on TradingView, and it also works on MT4. So you can see where buying volume stepped in and took control on the SPY at the bottom of the 2009 Great Recession. You could see where we went from a red heat map, presence of red volume, to a green heat map and presence of buyers. And you could see that that's where the market bottomed and turned. You could see again in 2011 where it pulled back. You could see that the momentum in the market had really shifted from selling to buying. And when that transpired, you can also see how the market picked up and moved on its way in the direction in which, we expected it to. Remember, volume leads price action. It always has, it always will. If you understand volume and you understand price action and you can put those two things together, you can read the market like a roadmap. And when you've spent enough time and you've experienced enough, you will be able to do this very simply, and you will understand what is going to happen before it happens. 2015. Look at that enormous presence of buyers at the bottom of this pullback. I mean, the very tallest bar right there is green, bright green. So what does that tell you? It indicates that there is a presence, a strong presence of buyers. Now, what do we call this? We call this a green bottom. When you have a green bottom or a red top, what may look like a bullish or bearish breakout is when it paints green, when we understand that volume has stepped in these areas, it is the absolute strongest indication of a reversal. And sure enough, you can see right here where this enormous presence of buyers stepped in, we had a defined extended green bottom that really turned the market around and pushed it in the direction, to recover from that sell-off. And that's exactly what happened. 2018, same thing. You could see the bias went from red to green, and it went from heavy red to heavy green. And sure enough, as the market made its turn, it pivoted to the long side. We saw that large bar of green price action on the bottom there extended below the previous red bar and well above it. That right there is the strongest sign of reversal. And understanding volume and price action is very simple to identify that, hey, listen, now's the time to position to the long side. Now, you don't have to take day trades to position this. This is on a daily time frame. You could have bought some ETFs, you could have bought the SPY, you could have bought the Qs, you could have bought some options, some longer term expiring options, way out of the money calls, and had really a tremendous opportunity to catch this upside, whether you had it leveraged or not. Understanding where the market turns, when it turns, you are able to capitalize humongously on these pullbacks. So I hope the time I just spent with you makes you understand just how money works. Our objective here is to get the quickest, most aggressive rate of return with the lowest risk possible. So I will run through this chart one more time because you really need to understand it in order to be able to gather exactly what we're attempting to achieve here. So when we divide 72 into the number, a fixed annual rate of return, that gives us the number of years it will take to double your investment. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to wait 18 years to double my investment at 4%. Now, there are very few places you could even go get 4% today securely. It almost doesn't exist. So, but what does 18 years, work for us? I mean, listen, we only get an opportunity of 4% 2 or 3 times in our life to double our money, and it doesn't happen quick enough. It's not aggressive enough. It's too passive. So we want to look to how do we shorten that term? How do we get a higher rate of return so we can double our money on a much more quicker basis? And that is really the objective here. The objective here is how often, how frequently can we get that rate of return up, so we can shorten that amount of time frame. So you could see even at 12%, if you were getting a 12% return on your money annually, it would take you 6 years to double your money. Now, guys, if we could cut that down to a shorter period of time, if we could do that in 6 months, would that excite you? I mean, is that worth your time? Because it is to me. And like I said, as long as time allows, I'm going to show you the actual trades that I had taken this past week and show you how I've made a 26% return on my money in 4 days, not years. 4 days, I've made a 26% return on investment. So what do we offer? Well, let's run through that, and then we're going to get into my live trades. So at the Hawkeye Mastery Academy, this is where we are going to cover all the rules, understanding the market, understanding volume, understanding price action, understanding our tools, understanding how to utilize our tools. We're going to talk about trade rules, our 3-step method that applies across the board at whatever it is you want to trade. Volume, heat map, trend indicator. If you have those 3 and you can stack the probability in your favor, you can make a lot of money. 6 ways the market moves. Most people don't understand this. The market moves in 6 ways. It trends, the trend pauses, there's congestion entrance, there's congestion exit, and trend reversal. If you understand the 6 ways the market moves, I can assure you, you will be able to read the market like a roadmap. Understanding the 6 ways the market moves, paired with your understanding of volume, will immensely encourage the opportunity for you to make a very, very strong and great return on investment. So, in the trade steps, we are going to share with you our trade setups. We're going to teach you how to set them up the way we do. Congestion trading, we're going to teach you to learn the process of identifying when the market is in congestion and how to trade that congestion. Now, guys, the markets typically trend about 30% of the time. So that means 70% of the time, the market is in congestion, or you could call it range-bound trading. You have to understand how to range-bound trade, because if you don't, you're going to miss the opportunities as they present themselves. The majority of the trades that I took this week are all range-bound trades. So with that being said, I'm going to show you that in real life, what that looks like. And then, of course, we're going to teach you about risk management. The objective is to have the highest reward with the least amount of risk. All right? So this is a message we got from Alan. I've been meaning to mail you for some time now to congratulate you on your hard work and brain power that you've expended in creating the Hawkeye system. It undoubtedly works, and there have been some super signals. They keep coming. That keep coming. Many thanks and well done. Guys, we get these all the time. Our satisfaction rate is ridiculous because people really, truly, they love it and they use it. This is from Steve. I've taken several seminars and tried several different systems and indicators. You know, some were just plain hard to understand, while others were a lot of work to use. I recently found Hawkeye, and I wish I had found them a long time ago. Hawkeye is easy to use, easy to understand, and doesn't require a lot of work to stay on top of the markets. Most importantly, it works. Now, guys, if it works over and over again, it becomes profitable. Listen, there's 2 key characteristics of a profitable trader: consistency and discipline. If you can be consistent and you can maintain discipline as a trader, trade your plan, maintain the psychological part, maintain the discipline, the consistency, I promise you, you can be profitable. It is just that simple. So the Hawkeye Mastery Academy, we would normally retail that at $29.97. We have weekly training labs, coaching sessions where you will see Randy or myself or one of our other experts, where you're going to learn what to look for on the live market. We're going to help you identify the very best trades, the best ways to enter, the best ways to manage, and help you learn how to accelerate your profits in the direction in which you want them to go, which is, of course, to the upside. Now, these training labs, we normally would retail them annually for $19.97. And we also have what we call the Hawkeye Inner Circle. This is where you get to interact with us. You get to interact with other members of Hawkeye. You get to ask questions, guidance. You get to learn together with your peers. Randy's involved on a daily basis. I'm involved on a daily basis. Some of our other team members are involved on a daily basis. This is where you get direct access to us pretty much around the clock, where we are going to help you be successful. And the other Hawkeye users are there too, to share their trades, to share their setups, and it really gives you the opportunity to get involved and understand the market, just how it moves. This is something we would also retail for $19.97 on an annual basis. So we're going to include the Mastery Academy, the weekly training lab, the Inner Circle, for a total value of $69.91. Now that's all knowledge. But what are we going to give you also in that? You need the indicators. So we're going to give you the indicators that you need to take the knowledge, apply it to the chart, and very, very simply and easily make yourself a great return on investment. So you're going to get the V-Swarm indicator, the volume radar, the volume paint bar, the Hawkeye trends and stops. So with all that, you will be able to take the knowledge we're giving you, the exposure we're giving you, and then create yourself a return on investment. This works on TradeStation. It works on TradingView. It works on NinjaTrader, and it works on MetaTrader 4. So just so you know, you have the opportunity to use our indicators on any of these 4 platforms. So depending on how you trade, what you have it set up on, it's completely up to you. We have a ton of users, excuse me, on TradeStation. We have a ton on NinjaTrader. And a ton that use Metaphor and TradingView also. It's really about personal preference. So Richardson's absolutely fantastic set of indicators, the closest thing to the holy grail that I've ever found. So, with that being said, that's a pretty powerful statement. And, guys, there is no holy grail. So being the closest to what you can find is pretty much second best. Bob says, how can you go wrong with those dots? Overall drop was 104 cents. Each cent was worth $50 per contract for a $5,400 profit. I mean, if you can take a user who can walk away with $5,400 in one trade, that's just it's just fantastic. And we love to hear these testimonials, and we get them on a regular and daily basis. So this V-Swarm package, which includes the indicator, the volume radar, the paint bar, the trends and stops, is something we would typically retail for $19.95. So guys, my goal here and objective is to build you an immense amount of value with everything we have to offer, to give you a complete system so that you can make money with it, the turnkey, for a fantastic offer. So if this just gave you a couple base hits a week, doubling your account every few months, would it be worth it? I think it would. I think it's an easy return on your investment. It would enable you to have a richer, wealthier lifestyle, spend a little more time doing what you love. Would it be worth it? I truly think it would. And guys, this is the reason I got involved in trading. I started trading because I wanted more time. It wasn't so much about the money, it was about the freedom. But I knew to have the freedom, to buy the freedom, it took the money. So that was kind of my direction in which I became a trader. And if you utilize our tools to cut down your analysis time in front of the computer to, say, 30 minutes a week, would that make your life simpler? And it could, if you're certainly trading on a longer time frame, a daily time frame. You really just need to look at the market at the end of the day each day, and you would understand which direction it's going in, manage your position, and carry on with your life. It wouldn't even take you 30 minutes a week to be a successful trader. So Sven says this is a tool where you are, in a structural way, feel confident just following the rules. I'm sitting here watching my screen right now, and I can almost predict what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 minutes in the e-money. It's almost like printing money sometimes. And guys, when you understand volume and you understand price action and you have the indicators that reflect volume and price action, it is very, very easy to become very profitable very quickly. So my total value here for everything that I am offering you today is $89.90. And I want to give it to you today for only $14.95. It is really cut down all the fat that is in all of these and brought it down to just a small investment that just, it almost doesn't make sense to take this investment, because with these indicators, it is really, really a substantially life-changing opportunity to change, the path that you're on. So guys, there's always 2 choices in life, and you have those 2 choices right now. You can do nothing and let this pass you by, but nothing changes, which is 100% risk-free. Or for $14.95, which is a small investment for the value we're delivering, you could give us a shot. You could take your chance. You can work with us here at Hawkeye. We can help you. If you already have a system you're using and you want to look at things from a different angle, or if you're just getting started and you're looking for the right system, you found it. I've been using this system for a decade. And I have been extremely profitable. I have made well over $1 million and then some in counting, utilizing Hawkeye tools. My annual income exceeds, 6 figures a year. It is, and these are all based on the tools that are provided by Hawkeye, the management that I've learned, and now I'm taking all this and teaching it to our users on a weekly and daily basis, and I'm truly enjoying it, because the ability for me to help somebody achieve what I have is is really a very humbling experience. And of course, we offer a 100% guarantee. If you don't double your investment in the first year, we will give you a second year of Hawkeye access for free, and we will also extend your inner circle and weekly training labs. So the $14.95 you spend today, if you don't double it, if you don't make $3,000 in the next 365 days, we will give you a complete second year worth of full access for free. It's just a no-brainer. It really is. We are that confident that we come completely full circle, that we can give you everything that you possibly need. So if you're ready to get started, you're going to get everything that I shared with you in value. You can utilize it on TradeStation, TradingView, NinjaTrader, MetaTrader 4. You can give us a call here at 888-233-8598, or you can just click the link right here on your screen, and I'm going to post it in the chat, if it'll let me. Right there. And you can click that link, you can review the order form, and you can get started today. We can get everything out to you immediately for immediate access, and this way you are up and running and ready to go. So today you can have your chart set up. Today you can have access to getting involved with everything that we teach and preach here at Hawkeye. Today you can learn the 6 ways the market moves. Today you can understand how volume precedes price action in every market, no matter what's happening around the world, globally, geopolitically, whatever is happening in this hemisphere. You can understand how the market works. So if you want to get started, if you're ready, give us a call at support if you're not comfortable doing it online. Otherwise, just click the link on the screen or the link that I have posted in the chat, and you can get started today. So to validate everything I just shared with you, I'm going to close the presentation and I'm going to open my trading account, because without seeing it, there is no believing it. And that's how I am. That's how I operate my own personal service called Big Energy Profits. I operate on reality, because there's nobody that can dispute facts. There's nobody that can dispute trading account statements. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna open up my platform. I'm gonna close out of this. So if you haven't clicked this yet, click on it now so that you have it saved. Or like I said, it's been posted in the chat. And I want to show you how I have returned myself 26% on my money this week. So guys, I am a light sweet crude oil trader by trade. This is how I make my living. Now, Big Energy Profits is built around my passive strategy. We build them on higher time frames. I call it passive trading for massive income. It has produced me north of 300,000 last year and north of 400,000 this year. So collectively, between 2019 and 2020, I am a little over $700,000 in just the past 2 years. Prior years leading to that, I am well north of $1 million. So guys, this is the real deal. It's real money. Now I'm going to show you how I use Hawkeye tools. This is my day trading setup. If I understand where volume comes in, if I understand where profit, price is going to move to and where price is going to move from, I can very easily take profitable, high probability trades. So you can see right here, price broke a key area, it came from a key area of support, or what we call demand. I waited for my indicators to set up. I have my trend, my volume, my heat map, and I just let my price walk its way to the next closest area of supply or resistance. For 36 ticks, I trade with 10 contracts. That's $3,600. Same thing transpired here. Price came up, just barely touched my next resistance zone and then started to fall. I knew when this happened that price was likely to return to support where it initially came from. This is range bound trading. This is congestive trading. This is what the market does 70% of the time. So big energy profits is designed to catch the trend. My day trading is designed to take money out of the chop. So right here you could see 3,600 bucks, 5,300 bucks. This was Monday. Tuesday, trading range was a little tight. $2,500 here. I lost $1,200 there. It just never picked up the steam. So I still netted out here 1,300 bucks. Not a bad day's pay, guys. We're talking about a day here. So here, this is Wednesday. I had an opportunity to trade towards this level of support. It failed and came against me. I lost 200 bucks. I had an opportunity to trade towards this area of resistance. It fell short. I lost my risk reward, so I closed out a little early for just 600 bucks. But later in the day, I had an opportunity to again have volume, trend, heat map all step in and get me to my resistance for another $3,500. So you can see, even if there's a couple little losers, the winners well outweigh them. This morning, what happened? Price had held in this area of support, and when it finally broke out, I had an opportunity to cross the gap here. So when I crossed the gap for 20 ticks, it was another $2,000. So what happens when I lock in that? So that collectively over 4 days paid me $16,100. 16,100 divided by, I needed $60,000 worth of margin to take those trades with that size position, gets me a 26.83333% return on investment. In 4 days, I've returned myself nearly 27% of return. This is the power of compounding your rate of return. This is the power of taking a simple strategy, utilizing simple indicators, and making a lot of money in a relatively short period of time. So if you too want to do this, this is what I teach. This is what we do here at Hawkeye. All you have to do is click the link or give us a call to support, and you can get started today with everything you need to replicate what I just showed you. 26.833333% return on my money in 4 days. I promise you, unless you can cherry pick trades with nobody can successfully over and over and over again, you need a system and a strategy that looks like what we here offer. If you have it, you can do this over and over and over again. So I encourage you to click the link. I encourage you to get started with us. I look forward to working with you in the coaching sessions. I also look forward to seeing you in the inner circle Skype room. And with that, guys, it's, my time is up. I will wish you a blessed day, a profitable day. And I look forward to working with you because our family at Hawkeye continues to grow, and we really, really, truly enjoy it. This has become a passion of mine, teaching this, because it's been life-changing for me, and to know that I'm helping somebody else change their life in the direction they want to go. Like I said, it's truly been a humbling experience, and I'm really enjoying it. So, all right, guys, I will turn it back over to Anna, and thank you so much.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Steve Vettorel. I am the Chief Market Analyst for a company called Avoria Prime. I'm also a financial advisor, run a book of business here in SoCal, live in Temecula, the smaller wine country portion of northern San Diego. I'd like to welcome everybody to the presentation today. It's going to be a little bit different than what probably you guys have seen before in a presentation. Everything that I'm going to talk to you about today is exactly the same reasons as to why I joined this organization, from the standpoint of a analyst. So without further ado, we don't really want to make this about the Steve show, but I think it's important, as I always mention to students and clients, who is this guy? What does he do? Essentially, before we get into that, let me just go through a quick disclosure. To trading, we're using Forex analysis tools and software to assist you in trading carries a high level of risk. Only trade with capital you can afford to lose. So the information contained in this presentation is for informational purposes only. One should evaluate their risk and tolerance and personal financial situation before trading. If in doubt, please consult your own personal licensed financial advisor. Avoria Prime is not providing investment advice. It's all trade opportunity alerts are delivered to all participants uniformly without regard to an individual's trade objectives, financial condition, or suitability. So unless a user has made customized alert options privately to their own account or to further analyze their own manual trade opportunities, these options are at the full discretion of the user. So do understand, please, Avoria does not exercise trading authority over your trades or brokerage accounts, since we're not a broker. So you and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade. And most importantly, as I captain a large subscriber base each week in our, what we like to call I like to affectionately refer to myself as your risk manager. um, Please do not trade with capital that you cannot afford to lose. Okay, so that it is a big deal as far as we're concerned here at Avoria. We spend a lot of time on disclaimers and compliance. The organization has a deep history in rooted in compliance. So who am I? Who's this knucklehead Steve on the mic? So essentially, I'm a Series 65 registered fiduciary, head trader. I run a firm that we own here called Benchmark Wealth Advisors. Graduated from XU with a degree in finance. I got the 65 and 66 licenses. Worked right out of college. My first job was with Fidelity Investments. I was a trader and an analyst. Um, I was pulled away from Fidelity by Ken Fisher and the team. As many of you may know Ken. He is retired now, but he was a famed investor, Forbes columnist. Ken taught me a lot of what I know today about being a portfolio manager. So essentially, after that period of time, I founded Amenti Capital. It's really just simply a long short. It was a US-based tactical hedge fund, mostly just trading equities, options, and the Forex markets. In 2017, probably because all the time I spent educating everybody out there, I was awarded the Investopedia's 2017 most 100 influential awards. So to this day, that is a very nice award. So let me share a different screen here. Stop sharing, shoot over to minimize. All right, here we go. So let's talk a little bit about Forex. So Forex essentially is just the foreign exchange markets. It's actually the largest market in the world in terms of currencies that are exchanged for trading purposes. The problem with the last, let's just say, decade and a half moving through these different organizations I work for, and then ultimately running money for clients myself, is that I always had problems with the vast majority of the trading platforms I encountered in Forex, as well as the systems and software that I was presented. I never had essentially a really good opportunity to find a decent traded program, whether it be manual or in some form of automation. I never had the opportunity to have any kind of artificial intelligence side to software as we do here at Avoria. And I'll talk a little more about that and why I sort of came on board and why I have just the utmost of respect for the tremendous amount of work that this organization has done, and the over 5,000 subscriber base that we have. So the problem is right now that I want to help identify is that the days of trading successfully on a single strategy or any kind of technical indicator that's singular are kind of over. So you really need multiple areas of confluence to be able to do that. I'm going to illustrate that on my charts next. I'm actually going to jump into the chart system that I use to kind of show you guys that a lot of the tools that I use to analyze the markets, both from a technical factor as well as quantitative, are just, it's difficult to teach. Even though I have brought with my small coaching company, FXES Trader, hundreds of students to a consistent profitability in the futures markets, it has been a tremendous amount of work to get everybody ramped up to the point of consistent profitability. And in some cases, it's required thousands of hours of work, which is, exceptionally well documented on my YouTube channel of the bazillions of videos that I've shot for different organizations, both software and Ninja Trader, brokerage firms, so forth, other kinds of analysis software like Linsoft. That's where I'm mostly most known for my auction market theory, and which is essentially market profile. So all of these tools just add to the sort of mass amount that a manual or a discretionary trader really needs to understand and the ability to use, in order to make trading decisions. So the large, learning curve, if you will, that I have experienced, and most people don't want to get on that path. And so understanding that the path to profitability is a significantly, I don't know, treacherous path. We decided to title this program Trader's Death Trap, Lack of Diversification, because many traders will just latch on to one or two things, and in some cases they can work, and I'm not sort of downplaying all of that, but there's a reason why some of the most successful hedge funds in the world, from a quantitative or trading standpoint, like a high frequency traded fund, have been successful. It's because they've built the software to trade for them, whether in some sort of high frequency or, just shooting off indicators the traders can execute upon on the desk, and so forth. So I have, over the last 10 years, I've been sort of looking for that holy grail. And in many cases, that holy grail is not available. It's certainly not talked about. If you want to build something like that yourself, you're looking at probably well over a couple of $1 million to build an automated, some sort of artificial intelligence-based algo, okay? So the search has been long for me. The problems have been many in this area. I've tried a bazillion things out in this arena, and it's left me frustrated, to say the least. So as you see bullet point there, most people do not have access to the right tools, strategies and coaching, so forth. So what I want to show you guys real quickly, I'm going to just move out of this screen, is these are some of the products that we offer here at Avoria Prime. They are, there's different versions. Gearbox, Variable are out right now. They have done exceptionally well. Depending upon where you are located, the software will send off an alert for you to execute upon, or it will actually do the trading for you. So let me jump out of this screen, and I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to jump over to, all right, so let's make sure we're sharing the right screen. Can you guys see the Investopedia page? Is that showing up okay? Check in. Yeah, here we go. So just so you guys know, the Investopedia page here, this is myself here. It's part of the top 100 advisors. This is actually a great award. Very thankful for it. Here is Trading View. So hopefully you guys can see this. If you don't, just pop something in the chat window. I keep monitoring here just in case I'm getting mixed up sharing screens. I am an expert in Zoom, but not in GoToMeeting. Okay, so here is the Euro US dollar on a daily chart inside of TradingView.com. You guys can see this is the exact same screen I show to all of our subscribers each week, as we're trying to help navigate through the ridiculously crazy waters of Forex. The very simple volume, long-term, including the squeeze zones. These are just an example of probably about 6 or 7 tools that I use to analyze what's going on, whether it be on a daily or some higher time frame, going down to a lower time frame. Same thing can be utilized along for just analyzing the SPX here. I'll overlay at some point the market profile and volume and time-based profiles on top of this. So whether we're analyzing for any of our subscribers, the US dollar, which has been sinking like a dog after a really solid period of consolidation. This has been wreaking some havoc, obviously, in Forex land because very simply the dollar's been going down. So consequently, everything that's attached to the dollar of the majors out there have been going up. So we take a lot of looks at the euro US dollar, the DXY. The point I'm trying to illustrate is that going through all of this, it's difficult. It takes a fair amount of time. I don't have as much time running a practice of clients these days that I would like to spend in terms of sitting in front of the computer trading all these accounts. So with the introduction of myself to Avoria Prime by a very good friend that is a fellow Forex trader here locally, this is a number of years ago, I was really impressed with the organization's ability to put together a group of developers that have built software. So this is the website of avoriaprime.com. Talk just briefly about the team, and then I'll jump back into the slide presentation. But I think it's important to understand that this team is run by some serious pros that have lots of expertise in their executive, especially Bill Wynn. He has helped, along with his whole team of developers, build a huge back end for this company's products and allowing us, as I'll show you next, in the dashboard of your back office, to have a huge amount of education related to the software, onboarding videos, all kinds of stuff. We have a lot of coaches that coach different pieces of software in addition to the developers of the software's weekly calls themselves. So I run calls on Tuesdays and Saturdays for the group, mostly just macroeconomic type events. As far as just the markets, what's going on, what to expect going forward for the week. Whereas our other coaches will do a deeper dive into the specific software that they oversee as far as our large subscriber base, or the developers themselves will talk about currencies, pairs, things that are changing, updates to the software and so forth. So this software, and just a quick peek, by the way, at the back office, if you guys can see this. So I'm actually logged into my back office to show you guys how deep the company has built out what's called Avoria Academy, which essentially is a roadmap starting all the way from the onboarding and product setup videos, which are a chronological order of taking one step. So it's a completely automated onboarding system as far as education, all the way down to getting into a deeper dive with the Days A. Duncan, who's done a fantastic job in building out understanding Forex. So we suggest all of our subscribers make it through this. You can complete this essentially at any time, but it is a monster benefit to being a subscriber to Avoria Prime's products. So I'll talk a little more about the products. I want to go into also some of the performance of them because I think that's important. It's a big reason. Obviously, we're all on board, but it has been difficult again in this sort of search for different software out there. The problems I always had was getting a third-party unbiased opinion of what the performance has been for the software. Because as many of you will attest, and a lot of our subscribers will, certainly a show me guy. It has to be demonstrated to me, has to be third party, and it has to be verified. Okay. So with Avoria Academy, great stuff in the back office. Just wanted to kind of touch on that real briefly. This makes it just an easier transition from, essentially many of our subscribers don't have a lot of experience with Forex, and that's okay. We welcome, because of the single fact that we are that confident with the 3 pieces of software we have out and an additional 2 coming to the product lineup, that we're going to be able to cover the gamut of full diversification across all different spectrums. Some software are martingale trading systems that allow you to trade within a particular range bound, as we kind of have with the dollar and the euro and the British pound as well the last few months. Some software are trend following. So essentially when they break out, the software will allow the trades to be taken in the direction of the trend. And then some software is very, very specific to just one currency. So we've brought what we believe is the best. There's no other company, by the way, on the planet that has an organization set up like this. So that is why I was willing to sort of take a piece of my time each week out and be the chief market analyst for the organization, because of the level of just professionalism this company exhibits. So the software, by the way, is plugged into the MT4 platform, which essentially is the 800-pound gorilla on the Forex trading space. And that essentially is connected to your Forex account, which trades in some cases for you, or there are alerts that will be sent, as you can see maybe the upper right-hand corner of the screen. There will be alerts sent to either your MT4 phone with the app on any type of smartphone, or a desktop or a tablet. So it's pretty slick. You can trade across any of these different devices depending on how you do it. And quite frankly, a lot of our subscribers, which are all over the world, we have subscribers on every continent. Many of them just use their phone. So they'll download the MT4 platform and the app that goes with it. The software gets installed through the back office here, which these videos help you walk through. And then it just goes in and trades the account for you. And many of them start off with accounts anywhere between 500 to 1,000. Typically, I recommend going a little bit larger in size, just from a risk standpoint. It's even though the drawdowns on some of our software really hasn't been that bad, and that's a very big deal in this discussion. I still think it's important to, just kind of go through and understand the risks associated with putting smaller balances inside the accounts. But the settings in some cases for the different pieces of software that you see here are fixed. Some of the settings come out of the box as default. They can be adjusted. That is also the purpose of the developers weekly calls, which we suggest all subscribers attend. Everything is recorded, including all of my weekly calls, put into the back office, in addition to very, very active, almost too active, 6 and 7 Telegram channels that have huge subscriber bases that follow along with all of the direction that we give each week. So we'll usually ask a typical subscriber in the course of a week to, I usually get in my calls and the Zoom calls essentially done on Tuesday and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I usually get them done right around, anywhere between 30, 45 minutes. Those 2 calls help give direction. Then if you have a piece of software, you have a couple of pieces of software that you're subscribed to. Each of those developers, Dasan for Variable and Tyler for Gearbox, will run their own calls each week and give you some direction as to maybe change a currency pair, one of the majors, or add an additional pair in. Many of these softwares can trade any of the different types of currencies out there. But honestly, just sticking, in my opinion, to the broad majors, one of the biggest, obviously, and the most liquid being the Euro US dollar. So hopefully I am not running too long on that, but I think it's important to kind of cover all this stuff so you guys can get a feel for that. So what else do I want to say about AP Academy? I think that's pretty much it. So the team, let me see if I can, actually, you know what? Why don't we do this? So I'm going to show, I don't know how many people in the audience are familiar with My FX Book, which is this tab right here. So My FX Book is a third party, along with FX Blue website. I think there's only 2 I know of, if I'm not mistaken, out there in Forex land that audit and completely can analyze the trades that are executed in your brokerage account, your Forex account. So they only have what's called an investor password ability to view what takes place in the account. They cannot go into your Forex account and make trades. They can't make adjustments. Just as the software, it's not difficult to go in and look at the settings, obviously. But the thing I want everybody to understand is that, and as an organization, we have gone to great lengths, including law firm engagement, just to make sure that This falls within the compliance of the FTC, the CFTC, and all of the foreign regulatory bodies over our industry. So including FINRA, which I'm a member of here in the US. So we're in the process of sort of rubber stamping, if you will, a lot of the compliance that's related to all of this. But we have made, I think, a monumental effort to put forth very solid compliance as far as what's talked about. So just like anything, what I'm about to show you guys, even though these returns are fantastic, they are representations of what has taken place in a whole mess of accounts. It doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to be in your account, right? Past performance is no indication of the future, right? I say that all the time in front of clients, but it's true. So, so let's take a look here. So this is myfxbook.com. You can see that up in the left-hand corner here. This is a full 1-year track record of variable trading. Okay, this is essentially the current version of variable. If you've never seen this before, there is bazillions of pieces of analysis that can be done in here. I don't want to drag this on all, the whole next half an hour just talking about this, but this can be gone through and looked at in performance. You can look at the summaries, different currencies that were traded. So over the last year, this particular software, which is called Variable, Dasan is the developer, the currencies that traded were 4. And the win rates, which you can just see in trade summaries, these win rates have been running anywhere between the high 50s to mid 60s, which is exceptional, especially and most importantly, that if the drawdown is low, okay? This right here, quite simply, is the single biggest reason that the vast majority of stuff that I've looked at in Forex, folks, I blew it off because drawdowns were tremendous. You'd have a great period of time, 3 months, 5 months, a year, and then the drawdown would just be tremendous because there would be no risk management, and the software would just begin to get itself and clobber itself. Now, in all fairness to this performance, even if you extrapolate some of the huge hits it got and big runs it had in the pandemic in March of 2020, software has still done fantastic. And the key really, especially since as I tell all of our subscribers, what's most important to me is that as we're sort of moving forward as a group from a macroeconomic perspective in terms of what's going on in big events out there, always picture yourself as an institutional trader, right? You want to think like an institutional trader, act, be diversified like one, obviously, hence the different pairs that are the different software products that we offer. But most importantly, you want to be able to have the confidence that there's not going to be a big drawdown in a product. Now, that's not to say that tomorrow we have a big move in currencies. I mean, heck, we're already having a big move in the dollar down from an area that we've been talking about for months now that I thought was going to be headed down to the 87, 85 area. We're seeing it right now. We're seeing a fairly protracted move. But the great thing about any piece of software that we offer is that from a risk management standpoint, it's taking little sequences of trades, both long and short, through whatever type of trading system it is. So martingale essentially is putting on levels of what they call sequences of trades that will slightly build a bigger position as the standard deviation or the rubber band, as I mentioned, gets sort of stretched out, if you will, over a period of time. Software will put slightly larger, but we're really, in many cases with the software, especially in smaller accounts, we're only trading with a 0.01 lot size. So, I mean, from the perspective, I mean, that's great because you're not just, you're taking really essentially micro Forex trades with the software. So, I always try to present this from a risk standpoint, but the track records for here, as you can see on the screen here, is that it's verified and the trading privileges are verified. So again, this analysis can't do anything in your Forex brokerage account but view the trades that took place. And it's only granted sort of a view, if you will, into this and be able to download the trades into its analysis in its own algo, if you will, because you've granted an investor-only password access to it, not a master password. So I really wish, honestly, and maybe it does exist, I just haven't come across it. I wish something like this existed for futures markets, something I can plug into a futures account that I trade and have it track performance. It would actually save me a whole bunch of money with auditors. But in any case, this is the whole year broken down by currency. We can dissect this in different ways, but you'll look to see, here's the drawdown screen. So you can look at the analysis tons of different ways, but essentially the drawdown, you want it to be, especially if you're like an institutional manager running a fund, you want the drawdowns to really be in, at the worst, high uh, high teens. Anything under 20% essentially passes muster, if you will, in institutional land as far as trading systems. So this, along with our other pieces of software, which I don't really have the time to show all of it today, but has the ability to, obviously do very well. There'll be months in some of these software where it'll just return, 1, 3, 6%. Some months it's had a 30% return, right? So keep in mind, in institutional land, if you look at some of the best performing hedge funds out there, and I pay fairly close attention from a quantitative standpoint, what funds have done well over time. Some of these funds that, even though some of their fees are really high and they take in many cases more than 20% of profits, that they've done exceptionally well with a 25 to 35% annual return. Many of the funds that have performed like that, especially in a quantitative type of fund like a Renaissance Capital, which Jim Simon's team runs, or Ray Dalio's Bridgewater Associates, and there's a number of different shops out there, including AQR, that run quant-based trading with their own built systems of algos they've designed. Those are fantastic returns. So I think it's important to sort of put the returns universe, if you will, in perspective in terms of what the ability is and what should one reasonably expect from a piece of software. So this is another account on a smaller side. I want you guys to see this account hasn't been running for a long period of time because it's more illustrating just a short period of time. Do keep in mind that when you look at the growth inside the account, this is what's important from a charting perspective, just looking at the equity growth. Whereas you can always look to see what the drawdowns are. This is not a realized drawdown. It just means that the account went into, from whatever level it was at, a negative 6%, right? Or a negative 12 or a negative 19%. It's sort of a pullback, but it's not necessarily a realized loss. Okay, so this is the variable live account. We have multiple live accounts with this software running in the hundreds of thousands, and a couple that are running on a couple of million. So we have the ability with the software to scale up depending on the size of the account. Obviously, with accounts that are over 50K or 100K, some of the ones I'll be running for clients, there's a lot more involved in terms of managing settings and so forth. And we can help you guys understand all that. It's not that difficult, but you do need to pay attention each week and making changes to the settings inside the software. So you guys feel free, you can ask questions on any of this and I will answer them. So the win rates on this one's shorter period of time, obviously, so not as large of a sample size of trades. Do note that if you were to divide essentially the amount of trading days by the amount of trades that this thing takes, you can see that total number of trades over a year was about 3,084. Okay. Do also understand one of the benefits of being a subscriber is we will help captain you to some of the best Forex brokers in the world, because honestly, there are a lot of them out there that play games against your trades, and some of them will game against your algo that you may have installed on the MT4 platform and trading for you. So we know who those all are to stay away from, and we know some of the best to go with. And the other great thing about this organization is there are tons of teams out there. Our team here, run by Ryan, is called Legacy Launchpad. We've got hundreds of members that we help individually through weekly calls and all kinds of stuff to go through the software. So without sort of belaboring the point, let me just jump back here. See if there's anything else I want to share. Variable live account. Got win rates, covered that. Drawdown, currency pairs. Let's take a look at that in a summary. See, this one's only running 2 pairs. So depending upon the level of capital that you're trading, depending upon what's going on, obviously currently with the macro climate in currencies, we may recommend, a couple pairs. We may take that off and just run 2 or 3 pairs, may have 6 or 7 on. Some software that we offer can trade over 10 pairs simultaneously. Because, let's face it, if it's looking for a particular pattern, there is much more opportunity among 10 pairs to see that pattern developing in any form that the software is looking for than there is just, having it narrowed down to a couple of pairs. But, sometimes currencies are going wild. GBP, NZD it comes to mind as the Wild West, in my opinion, of currency pairs. Maybe not the best, along with a lot of the other exotics to have our software running. So you'd want to stick to trading just the mains, in our opinion. But that certainly could change depending on the software. So what else do I want to talk about? At the back office. So let me jump back into sharing the next slide. So let's do that. I'm actually going to just share the PowerPoint screen instead of getting it all mixed up. Okay, here we go. All right, so back to the slides. So essentially, just as I had mentioned, Gearbox, Variable, we have Stratamus and Neo the Legend. They're being onboarded over the next quarter. In addition to the software, we have versions for each of these for both the US and what they call the MAV version for each of these 2 pieces of software. And then there's a automated version of that for our overseas students. A little bit of a difference between whether the software can execute the trade for you or if you have to accept it, which isn't really a big deal. Do understand that, as I had mentioned a little bit before, I bring to the table hopefully quality direction, right? Can't be right all the time. I'm obviously wrong too. But I try to bring, all the experience I have in trading just to kind of give you a macro overview of what's going on in Forex. But I think it's important that the software comes with its own live weekly coaching calls and so forth. Again, management, this is a big reason I joined the organization. Sal Leto and Joshua Fair, along with Bill and Vanessa, are basically the geniuses behind bringing the developers to the masses, if you will, with an educational component that can help you tremendously along the way. And with a couple of our other pieces of software that are coming on, including Arrow, which is more of a manual alerts for chart patterns. There's a couple of other pieces that are for more manual traders out there as well. So I do want to take some questions before I finalize the last slide. I'm going to send you guys a link as well. But I do want to see if you guys have any questions on anything. So we've got about 10 minutes. I'm mostly finished with the presentations. If you guys want me to peel through any of this stuff again, let me know. Let me just open up the questions. So if you guys could put the questions in the Q&A window. Yeah, so I'll go into that. The first question was pricing. So you can either buy what's called a bronze pass, and I have a sheet that illustrates that. Let me just pull that up here. There we go. You guys see the slide? It's called How Does It Work? So it's all about access. So the bottom line is that depending upon your level of budget, if you will, many of our subscribers will start off with a bronze access pass. or in some cases it's silver. Some will go with gold because they want all three pieces of software trading their accounts. Do know that both of these softwares, including our alerts, they have, which we all recommend, a subscription that can be run on a demo. And that's typically how we'll do that first, just so everybody can see how it runs, before you put live money to work. Almost all brokerage accounts, companies that we deal with globally, some are in Canada, some are in New Zealand, some are in the UK as well. They all allow you to set up a demo and run it, which we highly recommend you do first once you get past some of these onboarding videos. So maybe an hour of your time and hour and a half, 2 hours of your time, depending on the team you come aboard. Like if you get the link if you guys are interested in coming on our team, which will actually be right underneath myself and Ryan. We do the onboarding of setting everything up, including the brokerage account. We have a team that actually onboards you just via Zoom, which is really slick. So they make it really easy to get everybody onboarded. But the Bronze Access Pass, the normal cost every month for it, let me go to the right screen here, is there it is. So it's $99 a month. There's a one-time $80 activation fee, which just gets you access to the back office and all that stuff. These are the costs of each of, so essentially just take 9 times however many passes that you want. So the platinum's all the way just under $400 a month. There is a $20 VPS charge, which is a virtual private server. You do not, and I do not recommend that you run this software on anything other than a VPS. We deal with one of the best. They're a cloud-based organization called Forex VPS, one of the best in the world. They have built out significant technology for us and our subscribers so that the virtual private server, which is nothing more than a Windows platform machine from an enterprise level, is running the software for you, not on your local machine. So it's $20 a month for the VPS, and the $80 activation fee should get you access to the back office and all of us great educators. The other thing too is you guys can actually get the software for free if you refer some people. So if you want to learn more about that, once you come aboard, we can show you. But essentially, if you bring the software in, and this back to just how it works here. So I would usually recommend coming in as either a bronze or silver access pass, and then upgrading from there, which most of our team is upgraded to gold and platinum, depending on the level of capital that you have to trade. So all stuff that we can work through. It's actually pretty easy, but it may seem quite daunting in my presentation, so hopefully I haven't confused anybody. All right, so let's open up the Q&A here. So the first question was, how much do you say you can get started with trading effectively? There are versions of our software that you can start with $500. I don't recommend that, but it does exist, and I know there are hundreds of subscribers out there running it on a $500 account, which is rare. But from the standpoint of risk, guys, what I'm going to tell you is that you are far better served having this run on an account that's at a minimum of $1,000. Next question, what product would you recommend for a newbie? So right now, you can't really say set it and forget it because quite frankly, our compliance lawyers would probably smash our heads against the table because you really can't. I mean, there's adjustments that, just slight tweaks you may make to currency or add a pair each week, but you really can't just put the software in play and you come back in a year and have a fat account. We do not recommend that. So the Variable, which was developed by Dasan Costadani. This guy is an absolute genius. He is a master engineer with a robotics and quantitative degree from Cal Polytech and Worcester. So Polytech, if you're familiar with those, are phenomenal MIT caliber schools. He's the one who wrote the software. So the Variable system is probably being used by, of those running a bronze pass, I don't know, 65% of our subscriber base. That answers the question. So that's what we would recommend to start off with. We got the pricing. All right, so let me get another question about The question was about indicators. The indicators that the software uses, all of them, depending on the software. Much of our software utilizes what's called a martingale system. And I don't really have time to kind of explain it, but it just puts on an excessively large group of trades depending on how deep the price moves against the system. But you can Google martingale to see how it works. Some of our software is offering more of a trending system that it follows, but it's just taking essentially little shots, as you see from some of the FX books trades analysis that I showed. I didn't really have a lot of time to get into, but the cool thing with the MyFX book is it has the ability to get into a lot of different trades at a single time, but they're all very small from a risk standpoint. That answers the question. Not on Thinkorswim. Sorry. So we do this on the MT4 platform. All right, so tell me if you guys can see this. I'm actually going to drop this in here and send this off to the group. Do you guys see that link that I put in the chat window? Go to the last page here. The management of the company has allowed, which is really rare, they have allowed a 14-day free trial for the first 20 people that sign up, which we have never offered before. And I think that's fantastic that they're allowing that to happen. So it'll give you sort of a chance to log in, set up an account, take the software for a spin. Ideally, 14 days is not an eternity, right? Normally we charge 30 to 40 bucks for a 14-day trial of the software. But if you guys click on the link that you see here, there's also a link on the 14-day. For these recordings of this webinar, I would ask Anna and the team at Investor Expo, if you guys would please include these links in the recordings uploads. So if you're going to post the video on YouTube, as I assume, or what have you, I'll post the same recorded video on my YouTube. We'll have the link under there for everybody. And if somebody in the question box can just put in a yes that you see the link, let's make sure everybody got the link. Paste it here. See if I can paste it. Oh, here we go. Entire audience attendees. There you go. All right, look at that, just in time. Questions on anything? One of the questions I saw was if you have, if you refer people to sign up, you actually get the software for free. That is true. You refer 2 people in addition to yourself, the bronze pass is free. Which is pretty slick. Questions in anything? This is the, I'll switch over screen real quick because my time is basically up. Switch one quick second here. This is the Trader's Death Trap lack of diversification page. If you guys click on the link, you'll be able to see that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the only thing you'll ever have to hear again about trading. My name's Kenny Glick. I'll talk really slow for some of you guys that are hard of understanding. I'm going to talk quicker at certain points and then slower again if you don't understand. I don't have the chat room open, and like I said, you don't need to see my face. You can imagine what I look like. I'm kind of like a bald Tom Cruise, if you will. But let me tell you a little bit of history about myself. I went to school for television radio production. I went to school then for acting, and I was doing stand-up comedy for a couple of years. And somebody came up to me at the end of a show one day and said, "Hey, you're a funny guy." And here I am thinking I'm getting my big break. Turned out to be a stockbroker from one of those boiler rooms. And, I went out to Long Island, out in New York, if you guys know New York. And there I was wearing my bar mitzvah suit, and they were making fun of me and the clothes that I was wearing. They were telling me how much money I was going to make. And it was just like Boiler Room, just like Wolf of Wall Street. I was very discouraged about the industry, very upset. We jumped around from firm to firm. We kept changing the names of the firm to stay ahead of the law. That movie was pretty damn accurate. Fast forward till, let's say, 1998, and I've always been interested in the stock market. My dad was an avid investor, basically invented buying on dips in the 70s and 80s. But I was ready to walk away because I was very disgruntled and disappointed in when I saw how the sausage was made. And it wasn't really made pretty, as you can imagine. So what was going on was the advent of online trading, or more accessibility to us common folk, where now we can compete with the big boys. There was something called SOES, SOES, for you guys that have been around since 1998. There was a system called SelectNet. And now we had the power and the ability to see the market. What you're looking up on the screen is a level 2. This wasn't accessible to everybody for quite a while. You got to see the market makers and see who was buying and selling the stock, otherwise known as tape reading, if you will. You could see who's trading and how much volume is trading. It was pretty exciting. And I had a knack for it because now I was an independent trader. I had to answer to nobody. I'm not really good with compliance. I don't really play well with other adults. And it was a nice independent way to take what I knew about the stock market and make money for myself. And I did really, really well. And at one point, I got a little bit ahead of myself and I started gambling on options and doing some stupid stuff. And I gave back pretty much everything that I ever made, to the point where I had to go borrow money from an unscrupulous kind of fella, where, if you get my drift, my legs might have been broken if I didn't start making money again. Lo and behold, the dot-com crash. And that was where I made all the money I live off today, because what I was learning about the market did not play out in 1999. Stocks were going up. These companies had no revenue, nothing at all other than air, hope, and hype. And I was shorting them, and I was laughing my way to the bank when the market crashed. And the same thing happened in 2008, because the same tea leaves that I read in 1999 and 2000 were there again. But fast forward to what we're going to look at today, and this industry and all the folly that it is. Everybody wants to talk about how smart they are. Everybody's got an idea that's going to change your life. Everyone's got a book that they wrote about it. Everyone wants to sell you something. I thought, you know what would be awesome? If there was a guy that would actually trade and teach and tell you what works and not charge you any money for it until it made sense to you and you were making money with it. That guy's name is Kenny Glick. You're listening to him right now. So my website is hitthebid.com. My business model is such: you show up, you watch me trade in front of a live studio audience every single day, and I will massively blow your mind with how awesome I really am. And it's not that I'm smart. I got an 880 on my SAT. It's not that I'm savvy. I'm savvy enough. But I've realized over the many, many years of doing this that I really don't know anything. And I don't have any control over what the stock market's going to do. So what I have been doing is I follow what's called volume weighted average price. You in the back. You know what volume weighted average price is? Well, it's called VWAP for short, VWAP. What you're going to see today in the next 20 or 15 or how much time I have here, I think I got about 45 minutes to blow your minds. I'm going to show you how a guy that's been trading for 25 years has found something that works 80% of the time on a daily basis, and it's all you're ever going to need to trade the stock market. Now take a deep breath and inhale what I just said. I'm waiting for the edibles to kick in, so give me a second. Breathe it in. Breathe it in. I said it works 80% of the time for about 8 years in a row. Breathe it in. Let it sink in. All right? Okay? You letting it sink in? Now, if I told you something worked 80% of the time for about 7 or 8 years in a row, would you try it? Right now, you better be nodding. Yeah, I try it. Yeah, of course I try it. Now, the next question is, would it be something that you would only do forever? Now you're probably shrugging. Oh, well, yeah, well, I've got a financial advisor. Oh, my cousin's sister's uncle's friend told me about this stock. Oh, what about CNBC? Oh, I like that Kramer guy. Do you? Do you like that Kramer guy? I just told you I got a trade that works 80% of the time with a track record of going back 7 years. And during earnings season, that same setup works 95% of the time. Why would you do anything else? I know the answer already, because we're all degenerate psychopaths. If you're a trader, by definition, you're kind of a degenerate psychopath. You're sitting at your desk. I mean, now we got nowhere to go anyway because of COVID. That's why today's markets are the best markets to trade. We're all sitting here doing the same thing. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So take another deep breath, because strap in, kids, because I'm going to show you a trade that could have changed your life today, because what I do every day is actually trade. It's exciting to me. It's fascinating. But more importantly, like I said, I don't charge anybody for anything until you get it and you're making money with it and you could do it over and over again. Are you ready? I'm going to get into battle mode. Hang on. Let me just drink my cup of coffee and I'm going to show you a trade we did today. If you are a trader, you must know that there's a company that came out with earnings this morning on SPLK, right? Take a deep breath. What you're looking at is SPLK's chart. Now, I'm going to give you a little brief overview, and also I want to remind you one more time, I'm not here to sell you anything. And another thing I'm not going to tell you to do is listen or believe anything I have to say today, because I'm going to invite you to my chat room, and I'm going to show this thing to you every day for 2 weeks, maybe even more if you're nice. And you're going to be convinced yourself, because that's how it was brought to me. When somebody told me I could trade volume weighted average price intraday, I didn't believe it. I was like, why would anybody care what VWAP was during the day? It's a institutional tool to see if you did well getting your block trade for your hedge fund or whichever institution you were working for. So just like I said, I want you to put VWAP on your charts. I want you to follow along. And I want you to be amazed, not by what I'm saying, but what you're seeing for yourself. I am not a fortune teller. I just know how to react to what I see. And that is how you make money trading. Wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to speculate? Wouldn't it be great if you came in and saw a stock that's down 25% and you know that other people are getting their asses kicked in this stock and you're laughing about it because one person's disaster is another one's life-changing opportunity? So let's fast forward to the stock today, and I'm going to show you exactly what we do. So VWAP, volume weighted average price for short, is kind of like the EKG of the market. It tells you the strength. It tells you what side of the market you want to be on. Now, again, if you're not an active trader, some of this information that I'm blasting in front of you right now is going to go in one ear and out the other ear. If that's you, it's okay. It's okay. A lot of people don't get this on the first try. They don't get it on the second try. A lot of people are hard of understanding. They don't get this after a couple of months. And if you don't get it after a couple of months, you know what? Trading's probably not for you. So let me show you, explain to you what happened, right? SPLK, we're in the greatest bull market of all time, but this company's Splunk, and don't ask me what they do. I don't care. It's 4 letters and a symbol. But Splunk came out last night and said, oh, my earnings. Oh, the virus. Oh, we're going to have to downgrade. Oh, we didn't meet expectations. Bang, boom, destruction. Stock is going down 20, 30%. No end in sight today. So let me explain what we do. We get an idea of what the stock did yesterday. So what you're looking at right now is yesterday's aftermarket trading. The stock's getting slammed. It rolls over. It's getting slammed again. Right here is the most significant spot of yesterday's aftermarket, where it finally stopped going down. So that's significant. Why? Because that's where it stopped going down, dummy. So here's where it stopped going down. Here's an area where it kind of broke down to and struggled to get back above. Here's also another spot where it broke down from and struggled to get back to. So these areas from the aftermarket during its aftermarket destruction become significant the next day. What happens in the aftermarket or the pre-market, I hope you're taking notes. It will be recorded, I guess. I will be quizzing you at the end of this as well. What happens in the aftermarket and the pre-market often get mimicked, that means repeated, in the regular session. So knowing where the stock was in the pre-market, in the aftermarket, and then fast forward to this morning, those red lines now have come back into play because we are below that price. So now ask me what the blue line is. The blue line is the 1 minute VWAP, volume weighted average price on a 1 minute time frame. And what we do as VWAP traders, otherwise known as VWAPians, we trade volume weighted average price on a 1 minute and multiple periodicities of VWAP. Basically taking a look at where the VWAP was today. The living, breathing 1 minute VWAP is the blue line as we progress throughout the morning. And then we have the dotted orange line. The dotted orange line is what we call the multi-day VWAP, giving us data from the prior day. And as we scroll through our charts, I have it built with my proprietary, what's that word I'm looking for? I own it, proprietary VWAP code. I could grab as much data as I want and see where the VWAP was collectively for 1 day, for 2 days, for 3 days, for 4 days, and so forth and so on. Because what we found, again, from carefully doing these trades, you want to call it back testing, front testing, forward testing. I've been doing this trade for 7 or 8 years right now. And again, like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, don't take my word for it. I'm going to show you this trade over and over again for 3, 6 months, 9 months, a year. After you see it work 80% of the time for a year, you'll be convinced. Usually it only takes a couple of weeks. So let's fast forward into how awesome this day was already. What we have learned as VWAP traders is that no matter how bad a stock is, and this one was a doozy, down 40-something points, right? Still down about 40 points right now. One person's disaster, like I said, is another person's glorious trade. The VWAP tells you that this stock's not done going down. Here's the one moment. You see how it popped on a big volume spike over the blue line? And then where did it go? It failed to get back over that line from yesterday's aftermarket. So again, keeping in mind what happened in the aftermarket, keeping in mind what happened in the pre-market, and then you're following the VWAP to give you your test of strength or to tell you what side you should remain on. So a lot of people think, oh, this stock was gapped down, we're buying it at the open. No, you're not, because there was no reason to buy it at the open as it broke back below the VWAP and absolutely got smoked down another 7 points on a stock that was already down 19%. It wound up being down about 22 or 23%. And that's where the magic starts. Now that the stock capitulated and everybody bailed out of it, we wait for a reason to buy it. I'll give you guys a moment to catch up. We're talking about volume weighted average price. We're talking about a stock called SPLK. We're talking about it because it was gapped down. We have already established where it was in the aftermarket. We've already established where it was in the pre-market. And what we have learned, if you're still taking notes, get ready. This is a good one. This is a $10,000 moment. what we have witnessed over the last 7 or 8 years just using VWAP, and again, you will never see another indicator on my chart. I don't care about moving averages. I don't care about stochastics. I don't care about Bollinger Bands. I don't care about your Ichiro cloud. I don't care about what you think works. This is the holy grail of trading. When you could have 2 lines on your chart and just knowing the price of the stock, where it came from and where it was, it's making trading that easy. And again, don't take my word for it. Make sure you show up today. Remember, email me. You got a pencil and paper, right? The Warlock. TheWarlock. The Warlock, that's me, at hitthebid.com. I want you to email me right now, because what I do on Thursday nights, I get together with all my knucklehead trader friends, and I know a lot of people. My name's Kenny Glick. Google me. I've got leather-bound books. I've been in the business for 30 years. I know people. Google me. Don't watch the videos on YouTube. Most of them are really, really rude and crude and awful. If you're into that kind of humor, be my guest. But I want you to email me, and I want to invite you tonight to our drink fest. We get drunk. We talk about weed. We talk about drinking. We talk about guns and fishing and cooking. And, of course, we talk about volume-weighted average price and charting. And what we do is we prepare for the next day. So even though we're all hungover, we're still able to make some money on Fridays with our weekly option trades. So let's walk through this trade. So Splunk getting hammered this morning, right? No matter how bad the stock is, no matter how awful it is, if you're getting over the VWAP, the shorts are going to start covering. So if you don't know about trading, if the shorts are covering, that means they're buying back the stock. So that means there's going to be buying. So for us who came in without owning this piece of crap that's down 20%, we're looking to buy it because we know the shorts are going to start covering as it breaks over our fancy blue line, otherwise known as VWAP. So where's our risk? Everybody wants to know about risk reward. Everybody wants to know, if I put X amount, what can I make? How much am I risking? That's called defining your trade. With VWAP, every trade you ever do for the rest of your life will be defined. The only way you're going to lose money is if the trade starts to go the other way and you don't want to admit that you're wrong. Because, and if you're still taking notes, here's a good one. It's okay to be wrong. Just don't stay wrong. It's okay to be wrong. Just don't stay wrong. We all have losing trades. But if you buy a stock at 157.50 and you say, if it breaks 155, I'm going to dump it and admit I'm wrong, and you don't dump it at 155 and admit you're wrong, and you lose even more money, who's to blame? You. Because then you're the let's see what happens trader. Well, I don't want to take this loss here. Let's see what happens. Usually the let's see what happens trader is blown up in 5 days. Well, I figured it would go up. Did you? Did you figure it was going to go up? Well, that's great. Well, what happened to your whole plan? Well, I didn't want to lose the money. Oh, is that right? Well, now you took a $500 loss, and now it's a $5,000 loss. How do you feel about that now, champ? Good job. Define your trade. And when it doesn't work, you get out. But the best part about these VWAP trades, they work a lot. So here we go. Breaking the VWAP. So you're a buyer right here at 156.20. You see this little area right here about 154, 154.50? That was your recent double bottom. Every trade that we do, we have 3 areas of concern. And if you're still taking notes, you never want to get out of your position all at one price, even if you're losing money. Because even when you're losing money on a trade, haven't you had those moments where you sell out of it
And then it starts going back up. Oh, why did I sell it? Oh, no, it's going up without me.
And then you're too stubborn to buy it back.
Oh, I just had it.
Did you? Why'd you sell it all at one price, dummy?
Oh, well, I thought it was going to go lower.
Oh, there you go, thinking again. Thinking and speculation are overrated. There's no thinking involved here. You're not thinking about what happens. You're doing things because they are happening, right? So define the trade on Splunk. You're buying it because you know VWAP is being broken. You know your stop is here and where it held before, and obviously the low of the day. You don't want to let the trade roll over on you and start breaking down without having the proper stops. Now, what you're looking at way up there is our first multi-day VWAP. And again, I know you just met me, and this might be the first time you've ever heard of VWAP in your life, but the multi-day VWAP usually is your first target. So now we have got a completely defined trade. I know I'm buying it here. I know if I'm wrong, I'm going to sell some here, and if, God forbid, it breaks this price, I have to sell it all and suck it up, buttercup. Your trade didn't work. But guess what, Blanche? It did work. You got them hovering at the VWAP. You define your low point of risk, and your target was the first multi-day. So you're buying a stock right here at 156 with your first target could be up there at 163. And if you do the math, what is that, about 7 points? So let's do the math. Your entry's here. Your first stop is about $1 away. Sorry, $2, another $1, and another $1. So you're basically risking about 3.5 to try to make yourself 7 or 8. And that's only the beginning of the trade, right? Because if you do get up there, remember what I said, what happens in the pre-market and the aftermarket often get mimicked in the next day's session. So some more of your targets would be the 169 that it got through. Now, again, I know I just let the cat out of the bag there by showing you the rest of this trade, but look at what happened here. Boom, bang, bang, boof. You're getting paid. Now, as the stock rolls over and breaks back below where it came from, we thought this trade might have been over, and we took our profits. Not a bad day. Buying something at 156.50 and banging it out at 158, some at 159, some at 160, and then we got stopped out there. But my friends, that's where the magic happens. Get ready. So you thought you missed an opportunity, right? If a stock pulls back to the VWAP and holds it, it's now refreshed the trade. I hope you guys are still following along. I know I've been talking a lot. Yeah, you missed this beautiful move, but look what it did here. It came right back, and the blue line was drawn here before the stock got there, because the entire market runs on volume-weighted average price, because the government has taken over the market and has implemented an algorithm based on volume-weighted average price. Now, one of you probably said,
How do you know? Well, how do you know the government's using VWAP?
shut your mouth. It's a good question, but I'll explain. I don't know. But after 7 or 8 years of watching this stuff happen, every conspiracy theory and every psychopathic, delusional idea that I may have had has been proven correct. Remember, you're a weird psycho if you've got no money. I've got money. So I'm eccentric and odd. So let's go through this trade one more time. If your stock that you just missed comes back and holds the VWAP, that just tells you what? Even though this stock's is still getting hammered for the day, it just showed you that the bulls, the buyers, are still in control. So what happened here? Risk reward is back in your favor. Ah-cha-cha. Why not buy it as it comes off the VWAP, using the VWAP as your out and those prior lows from before? Your risk is now redefined, and you've got your target of the multi-day. And as we fast forward to the second day multi, watch this. You got to the 2-day and then want to see something awesome. I mean, it'll be more awesome when you understand what volume weighted average price is all about. But here's your 3-day VWAP. Your 3-day VWAP was up there at 168. And we knew that the stock had petered out at around 168.88 from that aftermarket area, right? So we had our new entry, redefine the trade, redefine the risk reward, had our targets, and this time you were risking only $1 to make 12. What's up? Now, for you option traders, this is where the options came in handy. So if you were too afraid to trade $157 stock, maybe you don't have the kind of money to do it, whatever the case, how about a 160 call for $3, Jack? You know where they went to? 6. So in this move right here, we were buying the 160s for 3. It was actually 3 1/4, and banging them out at 550 and 6. I think they went to about $7 or $8. And wouldn't you know it, when the stock got to 168.88, pretty much 169, that was the end of that big beautiful move. So we had our entry defined, we had our exit defined, we had our risk defined, all brought to you by volume weighted average price. Google it. I want you to learn a little bit about Brian Shannon. You still taking notes out there? Brian Shannon, Zach Hurwitz. Everything I showed you today, my friends, is because I have taken this and I have made it my own. For 6 months, I sat here in disbelief 7 years ago how well this worked. And now it is my journey in life to enlighten as many people as I possibly can in this industry. Because if you're the guy that's still if you're the person still reading Yahoo Finance to get ideas, you're already lost. If you're waiting for Kramer on CNBC to tell you what to do, my God, send me half your money, I'll kick you in the neck, and we'll call it even. I'm going to show you that this is the holy grail of trading, to become independent. You are now going to be part of the manipulation. You are not going to get manipulated. You will be the manipulator, my friends. So what's my email? thewarlock@hitthebid.com. What do I sell? Nothing. I'm going to blow your mind tonight, and for the next 20 or 30 days, you show up to our website. We'll show you what we do. We trade live in front of a studio audience every day. When the trades don't work, you see it. When the trades do work, you see it. And when they don't work, you're going to hear my mouth, because I'm from Brooklyn and I'm a human being, and I'm going to let you know how pissed off I am because I'm a real person. But every day, when you see how well these trades work, you're going to be flabbergasted. You're going to be out. I don't know. Give me my thesaurus. Give me some more words for flabbergasted. It's my favorite one. I should have used it second. You're going to be astounded. You're going to be amazed. Flummoxed. Overwhelmed. Astonished. Awestruck. And also, I have a special guest here with me. He didn't really want me to do this, but I was in the television industry, and I live in a neighborhood where Christopher Walken Can I bring you on the camp? Can I bring you? Do you guys mind if I introduce Christopher Walken to you guys? Christopher Walken's a dear friend of mine. We go back way back. Kind of, you said, oh, you don't want to come on? All right, maybe. Nah, just say a few words. All right, hold on. Hello, friends. Chris Walken. Yes, that Chris Walken. Kenny and we've been friends since '87. We met on SNL, and I thought he was an interesting fella. Funny, crazy, but crazy as a fox. He showed me VWAP a couple of years ago because I trade, not much, but, occasionally. And Kenny says, if you're going to just do it once in a while, why not use what works best? Kenny says, just trade VWAP on earnings reports. I said, Kenny, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's crazy, but I sat with him for a couple of months, came to his house, his wife, nice lady, crazy, but nice. He showed me that all you got to do is wait, be patient. I got all the patience in the world. I used to be an actor, been in a couple of movies, maybe you've seen them. But Kenny, he sits down, he says, look, Chris, wait for this setup. I'll be damned if I traded a stock in 7 years without VWAP. So come to the show. I'll be here tonight. Maybe I'll be around. I sleep at 9. I'm old. I'll be around. Maybe I won't. But Kenny's got guests Thursday night, drinks, smokes, good time. Learn about the VWAP. It'll change your life. All right. Thanks, buddy. That's my buddy Chris. All right. Yeah, he might come back tonight. Anyway, I could show anybody how to trade. I mean, Christopher Walken, the guy's an actor. You know Chris Walken. I'll see you later, buddy. So what was I saying? All right. Yeah, VWAP. It's phenomenal. So what we do every Thursday night, we get together on my website, and we're such nerds, and we love to talk about this. Plus, we've got nowhere else to go. We have a couple of cocktails, tell some tall tales about our days of yore. We sharpen our swords. We talk about a lot of different things. If you're offended by bad language, you might not want to show up. But if you're the kind of person that gets offended by a little bad language when somebody's showing you the holy grail of trading, then it's all right. We might not be for you. But like I said, I think I'm the only one in this industry that tries to make people money first, because you're going to want to pay me. You're going to want to be part of what we do. And I don't have to sell you. It sells itself. So stop by tonight. Drop me an email. I'll show you what with where, with what, and it'll be fantastic. So let me just show you one more trade and how amazing it was. If you guys like Star Trek, this trade was kind of ironic today because it was Kirk. So here's another stock, and if you want to know why I was trading, it's because they reported earnings, right? So as we explained before, and I know I only got about 5 or 6 minutes left here, and I don't know if anybody's even paying attention at this point. Sometimes I think I'm in an insane asylum in a straitjacket. I'm just going to wake up out of my coma one day. Hey, there's that guy. He's just, leave him alone. He's all right. Nah, he's coming out of his coma. Yeah, watch him. He'll scream something about VWAP. Watch him. Oh, there he goes again. VWAP. Sometimes I feel like I'm just trapped in like some sort of delusionary, what's that word? That purgatory. But let me show you this Kirk trade, right? I don't know what the hell this stock is, nor do I care. But I know it reported earnings, and I know it blasted off to about $17.40 this morning, right? And then it rolled back over. And then I noticed that it was chopping around at the VWAP. One of the first things you got to remember about VWAP is nobody wants to be short a stock that's breaking back over the VWAP, and they certainly don't want to be shorting a stock that's breaking over the VWAP and breaking the opening candle high. So here I am buying a stock that normally I wouldn't go after because it was already up considerably. But look what this bad boy did. Boof, bang. When in doubt, zoom out. Chopping around the VWAP, what did it do? It refreshed itself down here, and the shorts got caught on the wrong side, and this bad boy took off. And this is a $17 stock, kids. You bought this thing at $17.40, banging it out at 18 bucks, starts to pull back. Again, if you were using the half number premise, if you're in from 17.30 and you start making profit, you sell some at 17.50, you sell some at 18, using 17.50 as your out. Next thing you know, pulls back, but you held on to it because you never sell your entire position at one price. And wham! This thing's ripping to 20 bucks. Now, we didn't hold the whole thing to 20. We're selling in this move. And then we got stopped out finally on the way back down right here. But there's so much meat in the middle to make a living off, especially in a market that's so amazing like we're in today, because everybody's involved. The institutions are going crazy. The government's pumping money into the market. You got knuckleheads like you and me sitting there trying to figure it out during the day. So let me reiterate and bring it all home. Volume weighted average price. Kenny Glick, the Warlock at hitthebid.com. I charge no one for nothing. I've got no slides. I've got no seminars. I just trade. You learn from osmosis. And it's going to be the greatest time you've ever spent in the history of your life. We sing, we dance, we trade, we make a living. I show you how you could take a little nugget of wisdom and parlay it into massive, massive winning gains and possibly a career. Because the way I trade, you're done usually by 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So Eastern Standard Time, of course. So imagine you're West Coast. You could wake up at 6 o'clock, bang out a couple of winners, take a nap, get up, and live the rest of your life. And you've already made a day's pay. This is the easiest, hardest job in the world because everybody's so nervous. Everybody's so anxious. Everybody's anxiety ridden. When you let VWAP into your life, let the VWAP be your guide. Let VWAP control your destiny. Let VWAP be what you do. Let VWAP be who you are. And breathe and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. All right, I hope you learned something. So, yeah, I'm not looking at the, it's the Warlock. There is only one Warlock. It's the Warlock at hitthebid.com. I appreciate Anna contacting me. I'm hoping that you enjoyed meeting me half as much as I enjoyed meeting you, which would mean that I enjoyed meeting you twice as much as you enjoyed meeting me, which means, in fact, that I enjoyed meeting you 4 times as much as that you enjoyed meeting me. And remember, these trades work 80% of the time, 50% of the time, but 95% of the time, they work 80% of the time, especially on Tuesdays when there's a half moon. If it's raining out and it's Thursday, these trades only work 95% of the time, 60% of the time. All right? So make sure you reach out to me. The party starts tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Bring whatever drink. It's bring your own drinks. And bring your own questions because we crunch charts till, as my grandmother would say, the all hours, whichever hours there are. All right. Have a nice day, everybody. Good to meet you. Thanks very much. It's the Warlock at hitthebid.com. The Warlock at hitthebid.com.
the warlock at hitthebid.com.